Welcome to our meditation time. I invite you just to get comfortable in your spot. Get comfortable in this moment, not just in the physical location where you are, but in this moment that you have to just pause. And the best way to do that is to begin to connect to your breath. No matter what busyness there has been today, just bring yourself to a slow, steady breath in, followed by a slow, steady breath out. And with each breath, in and out, let the rushing go. Let the busy go. Let anything that you've been handling or worrying over throughout this day or this weekend, just let it go. And really honor the showing up to this present moment. And then when you can begin to do that, that's where the comfort of the moment begins to come. Starts with the breath. It's followed by the compassion that we give ourselves. It's kind of wrapped up in all of this letting go, so that here we are. And then together, let's just take a few breaths in and out. So slow inhale and a complete exhale. And breathing in and breathing out. And inhale and exhale. And allow yourself to settle just a bit more. And before we head into this 8th pillar of joy, of generosity, let's just each just pause and just think to ourselves, what has joy looked like lately for me? See if you can picture it. Maybe there's a name or a situation associated with it. What has joy looked like for me? What I have found is that the longer that we practice this face at these situations or these people or these experiences that we associate with joy, they become a little less tangible, a little less concrete. And we start to realize that the joy is this internal force. The happiness is connected to the things around us and the situations and the experiences and the people. But the joy, it's inside. And so just picture that. Like your heart is smiling. Your heart is full. Even if life is really tough right now, that's your joy. And so this 8th pillar of generosity, the Dalai Lama says it is the one that the other 7 actually begin to inspire and inform. Generosity. When I say that word, just picture, what do you see when you hear the word generosity? Chances are, again, it's concrete. We see an act of giving. And the Dalai Lama teaches us that that is a beautiful place to start. The act of giving to someone else. It comes forth from our nurturing of compassion. But he encourages us to look at generosity a little deeper, beyond just the physical act of giving. He asks us to look at it as a way that connects humanity. And so I want to share with you just a few places that I thought were really interesting about this idea of generosity. All of the big world religions have a word for it. In Islam, they call it zakat. In Judaism, they call it tzedakah. In Hinduism and Buddhism, they have the same word, it's dana. And in Christianity, they call it charity. And he encourages us to just think about that. We let the boundaries or the borders or the faces of religion separate us, when at the core of who we each are, we all believe very similar things. Generosity, giving. And sometimes in different religions, it takes on a different face or a different act, but the core is the same. Even if man or if groups have distorted it a bit and it looks different than how you or maybe I would think that it should look or be. But if we just pause and we dig down deeper, we realize within this beautiful union of humanity, generosity is what connects us together. We don't exist in isolation. We need each other. And so I love thinking about the fact that there are Islamic people across the globe and Buddhists across the globe and Christians across the globe who all believe that we should take care of each other, that we have this inner dependence upon each other. And wouldn't it be amazing if we could extend that generosity beyond religious lines, not just within them? If we could extend it beyond the color of our skin, beyond our age group, our culture, our town. This act of giving is at the core of who we are as humans. So let's just pause for just a few breaths here. Just let all of that sink in. And see if you can picture in your mind this idea of unity instead of separation. And then imagine that maybe somewhere on the other side of the globe, someone else is thinking the same thing. Unity instead of separation. And then tomorrow morning, someone else across the globe will wake up and they'll think the same thing. Unity instead of separation. So let's just sit with that for just a few breaths and see what the reflections are within you, how it makes you feel emotionally, what questions does it bring up, how does it make you feel? And then as the Dalai Lama is teaching us about this 8th pillar, he says, let's go beyond religion, because that's sometimes a tough one for us to really grasp. We need to sit with it for a while. Let's think about our work lives. We've all had them. Some of us still have them. You could probably count on one hand the bosses, the people for whom you've worked, that have lived with spirits of generosity, that were compassionate and caring and giving people. And then on the other hand, you can probably think of the ones that were not. So in any job that you've had where you have worked for someone who is compassionate and giving and caring, remember what that work environment looked like and felt like. Remember how you felt when you needed something or when you'd made a mistake in that kind of an environment. The Dalai Lama tells us that the research shows that in companies like that, employees are more productive. They stay. turnover rates are low. Absenteeism is almost non-existent. Because when you invest in people and you give, they give back. It's like that idea that I said the other day, that it's this joke that God can't do math, because the idea is if you give, you've been depleted. But both of these examples show that when we give, it comes right back. As an employer, if we give, our company does well because our people thrive. As a religious group or belief system, if we give, more people find lives of peace and healing. And then let's take it just one layer even below all of those big pictures to your family, your inner circle. Maybe they're related to you, maybe they're not, but your people. Do you see generosity with them? What does giving look like between you? And not just the giving of birthday gifts and Christmas presents, but true charity of your spirit. That's why they're your people. Whether, again, blood related or not, they're the ones that you choose to be around, because they give and fill your spirit so that you can give right back. I cannot think of anything our world needs more right now than that. He taught us all these other pillars. And he says all these other 7 truly begin to nurture this idea of generosity. Separation is no longer what we focus on. We began to see the union, the humanity between us all. So let's just sit for these next few minutes, just in the quiet, seeing those faces, the bosses, if you've had them, your closest, most intimate people in your life. See the face of generosity. And then see beyond it, look bigger, and imagine how it can begin to impact our world. Breathing in perspective. Breathing out generosity. Breathing in humility. Breathing out generosity. Breathing in humor. Breathing out generosity. Breathing in acceptance. Breathing out generosity. Breathing in forgiveness. Breathing out generosity. Breathing in gratitude. Breathing out generosity. Breathing in compassion. compassion. Breathing out, generosity. Breathing in all of these pillars so that then we breathe out joy. Joy comes in, joy goes out. It doesn't mean that life will be easy, nor does it mean that we will not suffer. But even in the midst of all of the tragedies of our world, inside we can feel joy through the pillars of perspective and acceptance and forgiveness, and each of these, cultivating them through whatever walk we're walking right now. Begin to see these as things that bind us together. And the more you see the union of humanity, the less you'll see the separation. And as we prepare to lay our heads down and sleep soon, just know that as the sun is coming up somewhere else in the next few minutes, there is someone sitting on their meditation cushion wishing for the same thing. Less separation, more humanity. We are part of this. We're not just a small drop in a very big pond. We are part of this. Cultivating joy, one breath, one moment at a time. Namaste.